Hello everyone, welcome to Almighty Tricks. There is a question in LeetCode saying linked list circle. So this question is asking we need to check whether the linked list is circle or not. So if it is circle, then we need to return true, otherwise we need to return false. Okay. And also it is saying we are not going to use any extra space. Okay. So let's understand what this question is asking. Say I have one linked list, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so this is connecting to here, this is connecting to this is connecting to this, connecting to this, connecting to this. Okay, so if you see we don't have any null pointer, right? No pointers are pointing to null, right? So if you see this part, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5 nodes are circle in a circle. So as it is a cycle, we need to return true in this case. Okay, so I'm assuming you know what is linked list, right? So the linked list is like we can have some data here and we can have one next pointer, it will point to next node. Okay, data 2, and next pointer it will point to uh, null. Okay, say another example is, let's say I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it is pointing to here, it is pointing to here. So we don't have anything, we are not pointing to anywhere any other nodes. So it is, we need to return here true, sorry, we need to return here false. Okay, let's understand how we can solve this. Okay, so here let me take one example, same example. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so 1 is pointing to 2, 2 is pointing to 3, 3 is pointing to 4, 4 is pointing to 5, 5 is pointing to 3. Okay, now what we can do, we can take two pointers. Okay, P1 and P2. Okay, so P1 will go for one step, P2 will go for two steps. And I'm assuming that you know the how to traverse the linked list. Okay, so initially P1 will point to here and P2 will point to first node. Okay, so in the first iteration, so we need to move one step for P1, we need to move two steps for P2. So in the first iteration, P1 will come to here because first iteration, right? And in the first iteration, P2 will come to here. Okay, okay. So in the next iteration, P1 will come to here, okay, and P2 will come to here because P2 needs to move for two steps. In the third iteration, it will come to P1 will come to here, and P2 will come to also here. Okay. Now, if you see, P1 and P2 are pointing to same node. Okay. So here actually we need to check if P1 equals to P2, then we need to return true, because as it is a loop, as it is a cycle, so obviously it will come to some step, it will come to it will pointing to one node, right? So in that case we can find the circle or not. So here P1 equals to P2, so we need to return true, otherwise we need to return false. Okay, so let's understand the without any cycle example. So let me take one example, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it will point to here, 1 is pointing to 2 is pointing to 3, 3 is pointing to 4. So initially my P1 and P2 will point to first node. So in the first iteration, P1 will come to here. Okay, P2 will come point to here because P2 needs to move to two step. In the next pointer, in the next iteration, P1 will come to here, but P2 will point to some other step. It will point to null. So in this case, we get to know that it is pointing to the null. So it is not a cycle. Okay, it is not a cycle, so we need to return false. Okay, let's check how we can code this. So we can have function a list node head. First of all, we need to check whether this head is empty or not. If head equals to null or head dot next equals to null, then we'll return false, because we get to know that this is null means it is not a cycle, right? We need to return false. Now we need to take two pointers like list node. We can have p1 which will have head, initially it will point to head, and list node it will point to p2, it will point to head again. Okay, now we'll take the while loop. So we'll take the while loop. In while loop we'll check p1 dot next is not equals to null and p2 dot next not equals to null. Okay, why? Because let's say p1 have any data and p2 have next element, but next to next is not there, then in that case it will throw error, right? So for that case we need to check this. Okay, now we'll check if p1 equals to p2. Okay, then we will return true. Okay, else we need to move p1, right? So p1 will be p1 dot next. It means it it will go to next one step. For p2 it will go to next step, right? So here, actually here I need to check. Yeah, that is correct. P1 equals to p2. Okay. Now finally return false. It means what? So if everything is working fine, then it will false. Otherwise, if there is a circle, then we need to return the true. Okay, let's code this. So first of all, we need to check whether head is empty or not. If it is empty, then we can get to know it is not a cycle. Now equals to null or head dot next equals to null, then return false. Okay, here we need to take two pointer. P1 initially it will point to head, list node p2 initially it will also point to head. Now we'll take while loop will run till head till p1 dot next not equals to null and p2 dot next not equals to null. Okay, here we need to check the p1 and p2 whether both are same or not. P1 equals to p2, then we'll return true. Okay, otherwise no need to use else, we can directly put here. So otherwise p1 will be p1 dot next, one step it will run, and p2 will run two step, p2 dot next. Okay, finally we return false. Okay, let's check. Okay, let's submit it. Yeah. Okay, so the issue is here. So here actually we need to check p1 dot next with p2 dot next next to next element. So we no need to check in the same element. So if we check this, then it will work. Submit it. Okay, so the issue is here we need to check p1 is not equals to null and p1 dot next is not equals to null. Then here also we need to check p2 is not equals to null and p2 dot next not equals to null. Let's compile this, submit it. Okay, hope you understood this approach. Thank you for watching this video.